Hello and welcome to this BioProcess International Ask the Expert webcast. I'm your host, Alex Nicolaitis, the webcast coordinator for BioProcess International. Before we get started, just a couple of notes. This webcast is being recorded and will be made available for replay in the multimedia section of our website. We've muted the audio lines, but you're welcome to type in your questions for our speaker in the Q&A window on your screen. After the presentation, we'll begin the question and answer portion, and I'll ask the speaker your questions. Your questions in the Q&A window will only be visible to myself and our speaker. So thank you for joining us today. It is now my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Blaj Gorichar, Process Analytics Development Manager from BIA Separations, now a Sartorius company.
Thank you, Alex, for this introduction. So the PATfix software can be divided into three parts, as you can see here on this introduction slide. The first part are the clients. So the software is accessible via a website link, and the clients can be either a PC, a laptop, a desktop PC, or a tablet. The good thing about the software is that it is accessible from any operating system, so Windows, Mac, or Linux. The second part of the PATfix software is, of course, the server. So, every company has an email server or a data server. So in that case, then we also introduce the PATfix server, which is then used to store and process all the data. The good thing is that all the compute load is done on the server side. That means that all the clients can be thin and light PC clients. And the server hosts the PATfix website. The third component of the PATfix software is the controller. So that is the PC that communicates between the server and the controller. This can be a very small PC box which provides Ethernet communication between all the components of the HPLC, such as the pump, the detector, the auto sampler, and then provides a single communication interface back to the server. So this is just a brief overview of the architecture of the PATfix software. Hopefully you will be able to understand how this works as a complete unit. And with that, we can now continue to the demo of a video that I made for this presentation.
This is the login page to the PATfix software. I will now log in using my user ID and password. The PATfix software can be accessed via this URL link. And once logged in, the software is divided into these sections. We have a platform sections where we provide instructions all the way from buffer preparation to conditioning of the system and data processing. Under projects, we can specify a new project and all the users that will be part of these projects. So we can add a specific user with a specific role to this project. Under samples, we have a unified samples database where the data from multiple HPLC systems is gathered. Under sequences, very similar, we have a unified sequence database from all the HPLC systems that are connected to the PATfix server. And the same goes for methods, unified method database as part of the PATfix server. We have a audit log, which is for Part 11 compliance. So here all the changes are logged. There is a settings section mainly for security purposes and configuration. For example, we can specify very specific roles with specific permissions for each individual user. The software has a built-in user guide, which is divided into these chapters that you can see here on the left side. The main part of the software is the analysis section, where we create a new blank document, a canvas. So this is kind of like a working folder where we specify which project we are working on, which type of analysis, and once again, who has the permissions to read or write to this working folder. Once inside, we have this blank canvas where we can add individual samples from the database. We can search here for additional samples if we want to find a very specific one, for example, and so on. So if I open a already existing made analysis, we have here 4 samples shown. What we can do is we can provide different views, so they can either be grouped together. Of course, then we can always zoom in or zoom out. We can export this to a clipboard, PNG, JPEG, SVG. We can also print a report. We can do peak integration. So over here we provide the tools for peak integration, which can be either manual or automatic. Standard chromatography tools such as retention time, peak area, peak height, and then some chromatographic parameters such as asymmetry, efficiency, resolution, and so on. We provide annotations, so we can add notes to the chart. So like so, for example, and so on. The main part of the software that I would like to focus on is the controller section. So this is where we control the HPLC. Here we have a list of controllers. If I log into one of the HPLCs that is connected now, we can see that we have a green icon for the connection. Once I log in, the software is then once again divided into multiple sections. So here we have a method designer section. The first thing that I have to do is I have to take control of the system, and then I can either create a new method or load an existing method. So once I load a method, I can then enable individual components of the HPLC, and then I can start building my method. So I can add here my timetable, where I can change the composition of buffers. I can add flow rate and so on. So the standard stuff for method building, very similar to what we have for the sequence. So over here I can load an existing sequence from the database, and then I can add runs to this sequence. So over here I can then specify which method I would like to use with each run, and then I can start this sequence. So I'm controlling the HPLC from within the browser. So if I go to the monitor section, over here I can load a method manually to the system. So I will choose from the method database a method. Right now then I'm switching on the laser and the lamps for our triple detector setup. So we have a mass detector, MWD detector, and a fluorescence detector. For the mass detector, we can measure up to 9 channels, fluorescence detector 4 channels, 2 channels, and UV detector 4 channels. What we can do here then is we can start a manual recording of these, and then we can already see here the recording of the triple detector setup. So currently we are only recording the baseline, and we have it divided into absorbance, fluorescence, and light scattering. We can then do more granular division into each individual channel of each individual detector. So once we are done with the recording, we can stop it, and then in the end we can save it as a sample. We have here additional controls for all the other parts of the HPLC. For example, what we can do is for a pump here, we can specify a change of composition from 100% buffer A to 25% of each buffer in 0.5 minutes. So then we can see now how the composition is changing. Over here we have a indicator of when this change will be completed. So we can see a live view of how this is changing. So we support multiple pumps, multiple detectors, we support valves, so we can change the position of a valve, for example. And we have a fraction collector, so we can collect also fractions for the prep work. So we have a column thermostat, auto sampler. So all of this is part of the HPLC control. And once we are done with the control, we just release control from the system, and then we exit the controller and we are back at the login page. And once again, we go back to the initial page of the software where I can now log out like so. So this is the PATfix software demo. Much more to show in a detailed video or presentation that you can check online on our BS Operations website.
So just to conclude, the PATfix software can control this triple detector setup. So we provide a UV, vis, MALS, and a fluorescence detector, which are part of the PATfix hardware product that you can check on the operations website. The software is designed with a server client model or architecture and based on a modern web application, which is hosted on the server and then accessed via clients. We provide a single unified database for multiple HPLC systems that can then connect to a single server, and multiple clients can access that one unified server. We aim for a quick and a powerful tool, for advanced data evaluation and calculations. We want to have a simplified user interface that is intuitive and easy to use, but still very powerful. And one of the key features are these interactive presentations, which improve collaboration with your coworkers and your clients. So it's very easy to share chromatography data with co-workers inside your company and then with your clients outside of your company. And the software also has these built-in analytical platforms with very straightforward instructions. So we have specific platforms for plasmid DNA analysis, for mRNA analysis, viral analytics, and so on. So these were the key features, and with that, I would like to thank you for your time. I'm sorry for this technical problems that we had, and yes, so thank you very much.
Okay, great. And as a reminder to our audience, you can go ahead and type in your questions for our speaker. So our first question is, did you acquire this UV, MALS, and fluorescence data? Which instruments did you utilize to acquire this data?
Yes, this data was acquired, and we have our own instruments, which are part of the PATfix hardware. So it's all part of the package that we sell as a system. The UV detector is a standard part of the PATfix, and then MALS and fluorescence detector are optional detectors that you can purchase with the PATfix HPLC system.
Our next question is, does this software integrate with the Sartorius SIMCA online software?
No, currently not. We are aiming, to improve integration with the Sartorius software in the future. Right now, BS Operations is still operating kind of like an independent company. So for now, it's a separate software, not part of the Sartorius software package.
And where is this server located? I suppose if we buy a system, we can set this up in our own network without relying on external providers?
Yes, so this is a internal server inside your company intranet. So, and then of course it can only be accessed securely inside the company intranet or outside via VPN. So that is one of the key advantages, that you can also work from home and access all the data with a secure VPN connection. Or, for security reasons, it's just accessed inside the company. So you're hosting the server as a client yourselves.
Okay, great. So it looks like we're running short on time. If we don't get to your questions, we will be passing them along to Blaj, and he can follow up with you directly. So please go ahead and continue to type in any questions you have, and we'll get those passed along. The last question for the webcast is, can the peak names be added automatically, not manually, for all injections in one run?
Yes, so the software provides mathematical templates that you can make. So you would just have to make, one template for your first sample, and then that template can then be applied to all the other samples automatically. So that way, it's a very straightforward and easy process to do not just peak naming, but also peak integration, for example.
All right. Well, thank you, Blaj, and thanks to our audience for our audience for joining us. The recorded version of this webcast will be available for on-demand viewing on our website, and as a registered attendee, you will receive a follow-up email providing you with a direct link. We look forward to having you at future BioProcess International Ask the Expert webcasts. Look for those announcements in your inbox. Goodbye.
Bye.